These aren't human. These are Sasquatch fingers. These are gorilla fingers. Is the fact that a lot of things in this world are now dependent on you touch screens. Sure enough, I was sitting here wondering why isn't my thing starting? And every time I'd hit in setting, I'd hit go back to that screen, and it was bumping the other button, which would cancel out and send me back to the main menu. Oh well. The original title of this was Opinions. I just didn't feel like typing it out 100 more times. But all we have right now are rumors, okay, of what's going on. The problem with rumors are everybody like assholes. Everybody has one. Half the time they're full of shit, and most of the time they stink. That's the problem with rumors. And of course, we've got somebody running around claiming to be an insider, and all that. But the problem is, this person has been wrong before, numerous times. They're claiming they have inside info that Disney has pulled out, and of course, all the doom mongers, the doom goblins, and the doom gremlins have all hopped onto this, saying, "Well, it must be true because it jives with what I think's going on with the show." Now, here's my opinions as far as what went wrong so far. Now, even though Disney was given no control of the show, they did have the right to, they sent advisors. Now, if you remember back, you scroll back way back when this first came out, I said the problem with advisors is, yeah, and America had advisors in Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, until it became a full-blown war over an incident that they decades later admitted was totally false and never happened, which is why I die laughing at people going, well, they wouldn't let that many people get killed just to do this. Tell that to the 58,000 names of the men and women on the Vietnam Wall when it came out that the Gulf of Tonkin incident was a total hoax. It never happened. And that's not some crazy thing. That's documented now. It was declassified. But, back to Doctor Who. Well, we're going to get on the Fallout probably by the time I'm done, because Fallout 76 just majorly shit the bed. But, all we have right now are opinions. Nothing's been documented. Nothing's been proven. But here's my opinions on what's going on. So Disney sent advisors. Okay? And I actually think that's where the Sonic looks too much like a gun. I think RTD took the flack for that. I think that sounds like something that a Disney advisor would say. You have to change the design of the sonic screwdriver because people think it's a weapon. That sounds totally Disney. So I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if in the future we find out that that all came from Disney advisors. Also, look at the direction the show went. We started making magic and the supernatural a real thing on a show that, for the most part, pretty much called that bunk for how many decades? That, to me, smells like a atypical Disney ploy, the more I look at it and think about it. That the whole magical fairy tale, especially, when we actually had goblins show up on the show. And the whole Ruby Sunday, I don't know why, but when I think of Ruby Sunday, I look at that story and call me crazy. Trust me, it's out in left field. But the more I think of like Little Red Riding Hood or something, Red, Ruby, call me crazy. Space Babies, which I found to be an amusing episode. Sure, it was not going to be ever going to be one of the greatest, but I did enjoy watching it, especially with the snot monster. Oh, God, you might as well tattoo Mickey's ass all over. You might as well tattoo Mickey's face on your ass at that point. Yeah, Billy Piper. You just now found that out, that Billy Piper's in the second series of Wednesday? That's been out for a little while. Also, Joanna Lumley's playing Grandmama. That's right, I found that out last week. Joanna Lumley will be in the second season of Wednesday. I'm not sure how big of a part it is. I just know she's playing Grandma Adams. Morticia's mom, I guess. Or maybe it's Gomez. I don't know. Actually, wait a minute. She's Grandma Adams, and yeah, she would be Gomez. Oh, well, we'll find out later. All right. Well, you see, Mark, you blew it. You had your perfect chance to go out there, drive around, find out what Jenna Ortega smells like, and you blew it. Now, of course, they probably kicked you off the set the first time you showed up. Went, but okay, but what are you doing? I'm trying to smell Jenna Ortega. Oh, why did I go pirate? I don't know. I've been watching this really weird time travel series called Dark. Came from Germany. The English dub's actually pretty good. I'm shocked. There are a few places you can tell, definitely where it's been dubbed over, but for the most part, well, the problem is, from what I'm hearing, this particular guy has been more, just as right as he's been wrong in the past. So it's 50-50. And I'm not kidding. The more I go book, I just read a thing about Shepard Book a little while ago. So the more I go back and think about and look at what happened over the last couple series with Shudigawa, I think poor Shudi got shot in the foot before he even got started. Of course, we all know the Tenet by generation thing was, of course, had to be RTD and Julie Gardner's idea. We're hoping to start this thing off using Tenet's popularity, to cash in. At least that's my opinion, okay? I don't know if that is a fact. You see, I'm not going to sit here and give you, unlike the Nardi, the drunkard, and a bunch of, feed you opinions, call them facts, and expect you to believe them. I mean, yeah, their best option at this point would be to go to Prime, because BBC's worked with Prime before. For you new folks, and for you old folks who are tired of hearing it, Prime took over Ripper Street when BBC canceled it at the end of its second season. Now, the main reason the BBC canceled it, though, was even though it was getting good views, it was very, very expensive to film because, of course, it is a period piece. It takes place towards the end of the 19th century, post the Jack the Ripper murders. And to make an area look like Whitechapel, put everybody in proper period clothing, and make sure everything goes off without a hitch while making this look like it's taking place in the 19th century. And if you go watch it, you'll see a lot of familiar faces jump in and out from Game of Thrones. Neve McIntosh played a character in there and whatnot. And matter of fact, the one character of who ran the brothel, the madam, was Liz, and she was played by the same actress. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'll slaughter it. But she played Shudi in The Impossible Planet. Which took me a while. No, Oreo does not wake me up. Oreo wakes Lady G up. Because Oreo's already learned that trying to wake me up is like trying to shift the rock of Gibraltar with your penis. It's not going to happen. Okay, I sleep like a rock, literally. I'm like out there. When I'm on a really good night's sleep, the only thing that was waking me up the last few nights in a row before this one was, I always got that terrible urge around 2 o'clock, get up, use the bathroom, and I hate when that happens. But okay, in the musical, Gomez thinks she is Morticia's mother. Morticia thinks she is Gomez's mother. Okay, either way, but like I said, as far as I know, Joanna Lumley's in this series coming up. Yeah, Oreo does not wake me up at night. Matter of fact, when I get up to go to the bathroom at night, he kind of like follows me towards there, and then he waits for me to get back. He tucks me in every night, you see. And then when I get up to go pee, I come back to the bed, he tucks me in again. I'm not kidding. He'll come in there, I have to pet him for a couple minutes, and then he'll lay down beside me, And then sure enough, just as I'm falling asleep, he gets up and takes off. He does this like every night. Oh God, don't even bring up the doom goblin Greta Thunberg, who's, one of the few people to realize that the climate thing ain't going over. So now she's going to go support Hamas. Yeah, look at that. A sailboat just full of provisions. Maybe to feed one family for a week. That's if they didn't drink and gobble it all, for they got their asses over there. And then she gets stopped by the Israeli Defense Forces and goes, I have been kidnapped by the Israeli Defense Forces. And then when they said, okay, you want to see what happened October 7th, your little buddies you're supporting, I refuse to watch the video. Please, is she over yet? I'm not sure what's going to come first for Greta Thunberg, because sooner or later it's going to be over. Her and that Sophie chick from the UK, they're either going to wind up, oh God, they're going to wind up in rehab, or they're going to wind up with their own OnlyFans page. I'm not sure what's going to happen first. Either way, I think they're doomed to be 304 girls. I'm sorry. It just, or whatever that term is. But, oh well. But, Greta Thunberg and Wyckoff, they've both never had jobs. They've both never had to make a living. But, of course, they're getting, all these little nice fringe travel the world benefits from, yammering on camera. Okay, Los Angeles. I didn't want to really bring that up, but folks, remember a long time ago, I think even my dad said it, I said it, there's going to be another civil war in the United States, and I just hope I'm not alive to see it. Step one's here, boys and girls. We have a little thing that was written into as law called the Posse Comitatus. And it was done after the 19th century, especially when the Union Army was being used as a policing force in numerous things. Now we have Marines on the ground in Los Angeles, which is a direct violation of the Posse Comitatus, or whatever it was. I'll have to go look it up again. It's a blatant violation of that law. National Guard's one thing, because they're technically a militia, run by your state or whatever. It's gonna be messy before it's over, and I'm just hoping that we all survive the fallout over here. Because it's when you're dropping troops into one of your own cities, things have definitely gotten off the hook. I doubt we'll see Susan again. I was shocked when she showed up, but given the turd storm that resulted, especially when they re-edited the final episode and they did it so badly it made me want to cry. Oh God, I've seen Roger Corman films that were better edited. And I'm not talking good ones, didn't he do War of the Worlds 1953, or was that what you call it? Quadrupel. But still, when your finale is worse edited than like Manos, The Hands of Fate, and for you MST3K fans, you'll know what I'm talking about, then yeah, you have problems. The reason why you're reading a lot about Missy Delta is because everybody was jumping on the speculation bandwagon because Michelle Gomez showed up to the premiere. And also Joe Martin showed up to the premiere. Joe Martin, of course, made a brief appearance. So everyone assumed that because Michelle Gomez was at the premiere. All right, the lady who played the second Ronnie was Archie Punjabi, if I remember correctly, if I haven't butchered her name. Look it up, Google it. She does have an Instagram page. I believe I'm following it. I know it's kind of weird calling a lady Archie, but that's the only way I can remember the name. I'm sorry. It's just mnemonic device. I'm not even sure that's how it's pronounced. But as I said, all we have right now are opinions. We have rumors. I've never watched Life on Mars. Not my bag. I've already heard about it. I heard the updated version and how it ended. I've heard about it, but But yeah, so everybody was speculating because Michelle Gomez showed up to the premiere. But you have to remember, Adjua Ndoa, and I probably just butchered that name to hell, who played Martha, oh God, I was about to say Martha Stewart. Martha Jones. That would have been freaky. Martha Jones' mom also was at the premiere. But did Martha Jones' mom appear in the finale or any of the... No. So, yep, Colin Baker turned 82, I believe it was yesterday. Or was it the day before? Or something like that. So, yeah, I'm hoping they get Michelle here at a con I go to soon, because I'd love to meet Michelle Gomez. Oh, it's kind of weird. You got all these, Scottish people with Spanish name. Peter Capaldi. That sounds like an Italian name. And then you have Michelle Gomez. And then you have, but oh well. Yeah, Colin Baker is a god on Big Finish. I can't say that enough. Well, I got to get going because I am running over. So once again, all we have right now are rumors and opinions. There's nothing written in stone as yet. So please keep your eyes open. And listen closely, but mainly stick to sources you trust. Like, Doctor Who Production News lets a glimmer out every now and then. From what she hears, Doctor Who filming locations will catch you throughout a hint. So keep your eyes out, okay? Be kind, be calm, be safe. Take care, everyone. We'll catch you all on the flip side. Enjoy the rest of your, what is it, Wednesday now? Wow. And I'm off this weekend. Take care, everyone.